Counter your enemy, how to destroy every lane in League of Legends. Today I will be showing you how you can counter your enemy on every matchup, on every lane. So you make sure that you destroy the lane and win the matchup in the early and in the later games of the states of the game. So yeah, let's not waste any time and start. My name is Mario from Climb with Mario, and I am here to share with you my Challenger Tryhard Climb. And today I'm here with another guide on how you counter your enemy in every matchup on every lane. And we are starting with the runes. So for runes, there are some things you can do. So the first thing you can do is into matchups where you will get poked a lot, you have the possibility to go fleet footwork, because this will give you a lot of sustain, and this is very good into range matchups, into hard matchups. This is the first thing you want to keep in mind, and actually that's the only main keystone here you have, which really gives you sustain. Of course you also have grasp, but this will only count for matchups where you can actually proc the grasp, so you won't take grasp into a ranged matchup. You really want to take this into a melee matchup where you are able to proc the grasp, of course. Then you have secondary the possibility to go biscuit, and they will deliver you a biscuit every 2 minutes until 6 minutes, so 3 biscuits total. And then you also have the Time Warp Tonic. Potions and biscuits grant some restoration immediately, and you gain movement speed while under their effect. So when you take a biscuit, you will immediately get some health and mana back, and this is something you can do into matchups where you will get poked a lot. You can combine this also with boots, because then you will of course save some money, because you don't have to buy boots. You can go future market, because then you can enter debt to buy items. So fleet footwork, for example, with, let's say, biscuit delivery and Time Warp Tonic would be a very nice combination into a very hard matchup where you will get poked a lot. And this counts for top, this counts for mid, this counts for bot. Then, of course, for defense, you want to pick it accordingly to your matchup. So if you're into magic resistance matchup, you want to pick magic resistance. If you're into a ability power, into an AP matchup, you want to pick magic resistance, of course. If you're into a AD matchup, you want to pick armor, of course. Also, if you are going for resolve secondary, or also if you're going for grasp, you will be able to pick between second wind and bow plating, and there it is very useful to pick second wind against a ranged matchup, because you will heal back after every time you get damage, and bomb plating is better into melee matchups where they attack you with multiple spells and attacks. So actually bomb plating is best in the most cases for fighting and trading, but if the enemy can proc your bomb plating with an ability or a attack from far away, so if they can poke you out and proc your bomb plating, it won't bring you much, because they just they crush it, and then you don't have it for 45 seconds, and then you will take second wind. And second wind is very good in combination with Thorn's Shield, because then you will heal back a lot after every time you get damage from an enemy champion. Also, of course, arm flinching is good against matchups with CC. Also, in the precision tree, you can go for tenacity into matchups with a lot of CC. Also, revitalize if your champion has any shields or heals, for example, Set, or some like Fiora, where you have lifesteal. Or where you heal with some ability. This is also very good, because heals and shields will get 5%, will get 10% stronger on targets below 40% health, and you will gain 5% heal and shield power at any stage of the game. So these are the things you can adjust, and you should really adjust this into any matchup. I know if you look up on OPGG or on UGG, the runes, this is good, but you should still think a little bit about it and play it, so adapt it accordingly to your matchup, because this is very good and very useful for you to play the lane correctly and win your matchup, of course. So then the next point will be itemization. So of course you will want to choose between the Doran's items. So if you're AP, you can choose between Doran's ring and also Doran's shield. Of course, if you're AD, you can choose between Doran's blade and Doran's shield. And Doran's shield is always good, as I said, in combination with second wind. And it's really good in every matchup where you really are looking to survive, where you not really are looking for any trades or something very big. You just want to farm and try to sustain the most poke out possible. Then Doran's shield is a very good start. Of course, you can always go corrupting potion. This is always good. This is very good in combination with the time warp rune, which I talked about earlier, because it will give you immediately some healing and some mana. And it also gives you a burn while you're under the influence of the potion. And it refills every time you visit the shop. So, yeah, that's the starting items. So, Doran's shield and corrupting potion are always defensive starting items. Then, the next are the boots. Of course, on the most mages, on the most AP carries, you want to go sorcerer boots, but please guys, if let's say your enemy mid lane is AP and your enemy top lane is AP and they both have CC, then don't be stupid and go for mercs. Of course, you are decaying your power spike a little bit because it will deal less damage, but it's worth it, trust me. It's really worth it. You really need to build accordingly to your opponent, and also if your mid and your jungler are the same damage source, then you always want to look for either mercs or tabis. Also, if the enemy is mid laner is AD, and let's say jungle is AD, on top is AD, or if at least your lane enemy is AD, you can think about buying this one early, Seeker's Arm Guard, because it will give you armor and 15 armor and additional 15 armor after grinding the stacks. And you can go for an early Sonia's Hourglass. This is very good into AD matchups, into burst matchups like Zed, Kiana, stuff like that. And yeah, that's it for AD. And you also will, if you are into a heavy healing matchup, so if your opponent will heal a lot of damage, so for example Irelia, she will go for Serpent's, what is it called? For the Vampire, sorry, Vampiric Scepter first item in most cases, and then you really want to go for Oblivion Orb, because it will give you Grievous Wounds, which is actually against healing champions and healing abilities. If you're an AD champion, you want to go Executioner's Calling in this case, and if you're a tank, or also if you're AD and AP, sometimes it's better to go Bramble Vase. So don't overlook this. If the enemy has a lot of healing, you need to counter. Choose between one of those three items. Then the next is, if you're playing against AP, then you want to look for, of course, mercs, and then also where do I have it? The Banshee's Veil. And this grants a spell shield that blocks the next enemy ability every 40 seconds. It's not that expensive, and you really can rush this item. Rush at least the Verdant Barrier. It's the same as the armor item, but with magic resistance. So this is very, very good in for rushing this item early if you're dealing with heavy AP burst damage. If you are an AD champion in the same situation, you want to go Hexdrinker against AP damage, so against heavy AP burst damage. You can go Hullbreaker. Let's say if your top is AD and your jungle is AP, or the enemy top is AD and the enemy jungle is AP, you can rush a Hullbreaker. Then you have the possibility to buy Mercurial Scimitar or Silvermere Dawn against heavy CC, because it will give you the active of Quicksilver Sash. And yeah, Wit's End also is a good item against AP damage. And yeah, that's most likely it. That's the items you want to look out for. So you don't really have to go tanky or anything, you just want to build the damage items which give you also the resistance you need against your laning opponent. And this will give you a much better laning phase, even if you are in a very heavy matchup. And of course, if you're playing a tank, I really need to explain a lot, because then of course you just go armor, you just go magic resistance, and that's it. And yeah, don't forget, if you're into a heavy matchup, which is in the favor of your enemy, then make sure to think about taking teleport, because then you will just take a free recall. You can just take a free recall every time you need to. So sometimes it can happen that you are in the lane and you're very poked out and the wave is like this, very huge, and you are like, let's say 50 HP, and staying is just too dangerous, and then going back and TPing back in is just way more efficient. And also the last thing I want to really talk about is, if you're into a heavy matchup and you get poked out a lot in the early stages of the game, just don't die. It's just try to not lose XP. If you have to give up CS, then it's okay. You will be better if you leave out on some CS, but you don't get killed, because most people make the mistakes. They can't really farm, then they walk up to farm, get poked, they walk up to farm, get poked, then they are about 100 damage, then they are at the tower, the wave is pushing to them, and they are like, oh no, I can't go back now, I need to farm, and then they get off at level 2 or level 3, or the jungler comes, and then they are dead. They lose the whole wave, XP, CS, they lost XP, CS before, and the enemy has the gold for the kill. So just play with patience and try not to tilt. Lose some CS, it's okay. Try to not lose too much XP, and don't die. Just don't die. You will get your power spike at some point where you can fight your enemy, and if you build those items, you will be very soon able to fight them if you build accordingly to the matchup. And yeah, that's most likely it. So that's it for today's video. If you found this video helpful, or if you learned anything at all, make sure to leave a thumbs up. Comment down below, let me know what your current rank is, so with what ranking you ended the season 11, because I would really like to hear that. And make sure, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so you won't miss any upcoming videos. I'm also streaming on Twitch at the moment. It's Climb with Mario. You also can find the link in my YouTube channel. And yeah, also subscribe me there, of course, follow me there, and yeah, join my live stream sometime. And yeah, posting videos 3 times a week on YouTube. I'm streaming almost every second day on Twitch. I want to share with you my road to Challenger, and I also want to help you guys the best I can to make it your best time in League of Legends. And yeah, with this being said, I'm signing out. Wish you guys a nice day, and see you. Ciao.